Welcome once again to the channel, you Fruit Loops and nut jobs. Today's video, you've obviously seen the thumbnail. Does God exist? It's been a battle of mine for, well, since I was probably 9-10 year old. Since then, questioning everything to do with Christianity and God, and obviously it goes to show other religions as well, because it's all based on this entity, shall we say, that we never see or hear, or I don't anyway. I never have. But anyway, here we are today. We're at an extremely old church. I didn't know what it was called. The Church of something Shepherd, I believe. It's really spooky though, and really eerie. So I'm here at a very eerie, spooky place in the middle of nowhere. I think it's on the outskirts of Lancaster and Lancashire. But yeah, it's absolutely middle of nowhere. The roads, or should I say paths, I came to get here were pretty difficult. There was one like really, I don't know whether I got it on video, but it was virtually a so sharp right hand bend uphill on cobbles. I nearly come off the bike, I nearly lost my balance, but give it a bit of revs and away we went. But yeah, this place is really eerie. I believe it's called something like the Church of something Shepherd. I'll put it down below what it actually is, but it's like I say, it's the middle of nowhere and quite spooky, even in daylight. So anyway, I'm gonna have a brew here. It's nice. Caramel latte. Very nice too. Oh. If there is a God, he had a hand in making this. So, is there a God? Well, I'm here at a place where over the many thousands of years humans have built places like this church, to worship and pray to the so-called God, whether it be Christians or Catholics. I'm not sure about any other religions. Don't really know enough of them or about them. Can we truly believe there is something godlike that is a higher authority to us human beings? Maybe there is. I'll be honest with you. I haven't found one yet in my adult life. I don't suppose it's too late to do that. I'm 57, don't know how long I've got left. I'm in the back end of my life, there's no doubt about that. But I've always had a conflict since the age of, 9-10-year-old, when I stopped going to Sunday school and church. It was boring to me back then. I didn't really understand it. I've always been more practical thinking, to be fair. I was not what they call airy-fairy back then. But I get to feel sometimes there must be something in it. Because let's face it, thousands of years ago, it was written by whom I don't know, probably a very intelligent human being, about a guy called Jesus, the supposed Son of God. That's where I find I kind of struggle with that. I don't believe he did miracles, because I've not seen many miracles. I haven't seen any miracles in my lifetime yet. I do believe he was a superior human being, much like Elon Musk or Einstein or Da Vinci in our kind of period. Very, very special person that could do things that were seen impossible back then, many thousands of years ago. But was he godlike or son of a god? I don't know. I think the Greeks believed in all that, didn't they? The gods, they had different gods. As a Christian, I'm taught to believe in one God. I still believe I'm a Christian, because I think Christianity is more than just believing in God. Like I say, I struggle with that. But I do believe you can have Christian values, which I have. I have Christian morals, Christian values, and all what's right from wrong. That's why this period we're going through now, this last 10 years, has been horrific for me and my mental health. But there we go. So I do believe that many millions of people believe there's a God, because they wouldn't build churches like this behind me. This church behind me is, I don't know, probably absolutely thousands of years old. It's out of the way. You know, you can see the surroundings of it as being, it's been mainly the centre of a village, I believe. You know, there's a stream down in the dip there, and it's just surrounded by stone walls, or wooden gates, big oak trees. And an eerie feeling. You get the feeling that at one time in history this place was bustling with villagers scuttling up and down around here with hand carts, trading vegetables and handmade jewellery and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of get that feeling here. This is what's coming to my mind. It's weird. But yeah, I think that, you know, have millions of people been fooled over the thousands of years? Is it just a hoax, or is there a God that looks after us all? See, this is where I have a bit of a dilemma, especially in the last 10 years. You know, God is supposed to look after us, look over us all. You know, we're supposed to be his children, apparently. But I find that difficult to believe with what's happened in the last 10 years and how evil has crept in and taken over globally, really. And these global elites, people like our Prime Minister at the moment, I'm not mentioning his name because I might get a strike on YouTube, but that man, we all know what we're talking about. He is born evil. He is born pure evil. I mean, if there is a God, then there must be a devil. And him and his cronies, and majority of the people in Westminster, and WAF, and all these globalist people, they are what I would call the disciples of Lucifer. And the rest of us, if there is a God, will be the disciples of God, I presume. There's always an opposite, isn't there? So yeah. So I'm going to take you on a nice, beautiful countryside ride this afternoon, and we'll discuss in a little bit more detail, does God exist? Let's ride. Funny how the quietest moments stir up the loudest thoughts. Just me, the bike, and this road carving through the green ribs of Lancashire. And somewhere in my head, a question that's haunted me for decades. Is there really a God? I was raised with him. Sunday mornings meant itchy shirts, hymn books, and pews colder than a vicar's handshake. We sang about grace, mercy, and burning bushes, and I accepted it all. As a lad, I didn't question it. I don't think any of us did back then. God was just, well, part of the furniture. Like a coal scuttle or your nan's sherry bottle. But now I'm 57 and the questions are louder than ever. Look around. There's war, greed, governments drunk on power, kids scrolling through chaos on their phones, and the weight of the modern life grinding people down like wet gravel under a bald tyre. And I ask myself, if God's up there, why does it feel like he's taking his hands off the bars? Don't get me wrong, I want to believe, I really do. There's something comforting about the idea of a higher power watching over all this madness. But the world often feels like a place that's forgotten how to be kind, where profit matters more than people and prayers echo into the void. I remember as a kid in the late 60s and early 70s, our gods were simpler. They were the smell of bacon on a Sunday morning, the buzz of a rally chopper, and the joy of jumping in puddles whilst wearing wellies 2 sizes too big for you. We didn't have much, but we had belief in community, in good, and sometimes in something greater than ourselves. Maybe you felt it too. That pull between faith and reason, between wanting to believe and struggling to believe. Sometimes I envy those of you with unshakable belief, who close their eyes, say a prayer, and sleep like they've handed the keys to someone else. I wish I had that kind of certainty. But I can't fake it. I want answers. And I reckon I'm not alone. So here's what I'm asking you guys. As a fellow rider and on this crazy highway, do you believe? And if you do, why? And if you don't, what fills that space for you? Is faith something we're born with and lose along the way? Or is it something we grow into, like crow's feet and grey whiskers? I'm not looking for dogma or preaching. I've had enough of sermons over the past. I want the truth, real stories, the kind of honesty that happens at 50 miles an hour with the wind in your helmet and no one listening but the sky. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I'll read every one, I promise. Help me figure this out. Convince me that God is still out there. Or help me make peace with the silence. Maybe that's the divine spark right there. It's us, reaching out to each other in this big, noisy, beautiful mess of a world. Either way, I'm glad you're along for the ride. You know, the thing about belief or disbelief is that it's not always a choice. It's not like switching your headlamp on and off. I didn't wake up one day and think, right then, that's it, no more God for me. It was more like a slow erosion, a quiet tide pulling at the pillars that once held up something sacred. I still remember those church pews from childhood, the varnished wood that stuck to your legs in the summer, the musty smell of hymn books older than the congregation, and the Sunday suits that made us all look like mini accountants. It was all part theatre, part ritual, and part roast dinner afterwards. Wonderful. And I felt safe back then, because God, to me, was just another adult in the room. One who watched over everything and kept us right. But somewhere between childhood innocence and adult reality, that comforting presence started to fade, like the warmth of a fire that's just gone out. You don't notice the cold straight away. It creeps in slowly, almost politely. And now, I find myself staring into the void of questions. And the big one always comes back. If there is a God, where the bloody hell is he? I'm not trying to be flippant, but I look around at the madness of this modern world. Like I said, wars erupting over land and ego, children starving, while billionaires ride rockets into the stratosphere, and people fighting online over who's more right, while their neighbours are quietly drowning in loneliness. And I ask myself, how does an all-knowing, all-loving deity allow this circus to roll on unchecked? I mean, I get it, free will and all that, but even the best parents step in before the kids burn the house down. So where is the intervention? I'm not expecting plagues of frogs or burning bushes at this point, but a sign wouldn't go amiss. Just a little whisper on the wind, maybe. Something to hang my helmet on. As I said, I really don't want to be cynical. I really don't. Part of me actually wants to believe. I want there to be something greater, something divine, watching over this mess and saying, hang in there, lad. It all makes sense in the end. But then I watch the news. I see the injustice. I hear people using religion not as a comfort, but as a weapon, condemning others while preaching love, shouting damnation with one breath and singing Amazing Grace with the next. And I think, is this what belief has become? A tool for control? A cloak for cruelty? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Or maybe this is the only way I'll ever find peace. By questioning everything until something starts to feel right. And maybe that's where you guys come in. Again, if you're watching this and you're someone who does really believe, truly, deeply, without doubt, I want to know why. Not to debate or poke holes in your faith, not at all. I want to understand. What anchors your belief? What convinces you that, despite all the madness, there is a divine thread holding this tapestry together?
And if you don't believe, if you've lost faith like I have, or never had it to begin with, what do you hold on to? What gives your life meaning in the absence of something higher? Because I'll be honest, I don't want to spend the rest of my life riding aimlessly through this world, full throttle, but with no direction. I want to know if there's a destination. Hey, or maybe even a map. Hello, Shooty. Someone speaks Welsh. Crikey, you've been skinned, mate, haven't you? You woolly outskirts. Right over that, please. So, that's where I am. Somewhere between disbelief and desperate hope. Between skepticism and longing. And maybe this video isn't about answers. Maybe it's just about asking the questions out loud, in the open, where they can breathe. Maybe that's enough for now. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Seriously. This isn't your usual how-to or travel vlog. This is just a bloke on a bike trying to make sense of life while the miles roll by. And if you've got thoughts about God, about faith, about what gets you through the hard days, I'd love to read them in the comments. Let's turn this little ride into something bigger. Let's have a real conversation. No preaching, no judgment, just throttle thoughts. From the road and from the heart. Thanks again. Ride free, live real. Right folks, we're going to wrap up for the day on this particular trip and throttle thoughts video, and yeah, I hope you've liked it, and if you have, please consider helping the channel out. I'm really new. Obviously hit the subscribe and like button, that would be very much appreciated. I know it's a contradictional or divisive topic that today's been all about, but anyway, give me your thoughts, and yeah, I think I need convincing, but hopefully, you know, get in the comments and try and convince me that there is a God and that I can believe. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you all ride free and live